So I'm a fucking idiot. I just recorded a whole video like this with my face cam big as fuck. So now I gotta minimize it. You feel me? Boom. And then I'm gonna show y'all. I just watched one tap ends in hostage situation. Yeah, little rundown. Lady follows his grandma off the bus with a knife, holds her at whatever, gets one tapped by a police officer. Boom. Next one. We are about to watch. See, I don't know if I like the face cam that small. I don't know if I should have it over here. And then, you feel me? Be smaller? Should I be smaller? Should I be in the middle? Got room? Alright. Let me stop messing around. Let's watch this shit.
Here, today's video is going to be about angry dads, retribution, and real life
like right
taken
here, I think.
situations. Taken like with Liam Neeson's in it. But first, a word from our sponsor, MyBookie. If you bet on sports, then you can use the code DONUT to double your initial deposit at my 250% initial deposit bonus. That is unlimited to redeem, so you can get. Came across a post from a friend. It was a screenshot.
Man killed his daughter's boyfriend for selling. What? What?
A news article that he had captioned hero. It was a news article that was titled "Man Killed His Daughter's Boyfriend for Selling Her into Certain Acts Trafficking Ring," police say. The 19-year-old victim was killed last year, police in Spokane, Washington say. The remains were recently discovered in the trunk of a car. They had my curiosity, but now they have my attention. This story brought on national attention, with many people agreeing with the fact that the father is a hero. What father wouldn't want to go Liam Neeson's on someone who sold your little girl into sex slavery? The reason that we are talking about
I know who you are. No, I'm just kidding. That's fucked up.
because it's so interesting that there are other incidents from a while back where this same exact thing happened, where an angry father killed someone who harmed their kid, and they got off nearly scot-free. One of the incidents we're going to talk about today, an angry dad killed a bad man on national television. Straight up schwacked a pedo on the news. We'll get to that in a moment. Back to the original story of the 19-year-old found in a trunk. What are the deets on this one? Coming directly from the Spokane Police Department. On 10/22/21, Spokane police responded to a very stinky abandoned vehicle. I mean, you already know why it's kind of stinky. We already went over the headline. The victim was identified as the 19-year-old boyfriend. Detectives did what detectives will do: eat lunch for 3 hours and investigate a couple things before going to a very lucrative extra duty assignment at the bowling alley. No, I'm playing. I love you guys. Gotta poke a little fun there. Just a little poka. These criminal investigation wizards quickly put two and two together and arrested 60-year-old John Eisman for first-degree murder. First degree being the big degree. That's the one with intent, where there's planning involved, and you say, hey, that's the motherfucker I want to kill most of the time. Whereas second degree is something like robbing a random person and shooting them to death, or someone killed randomly in a drive-by, something like that.
Come on, G.
Rest in peace, G baby. What happened to our dad, Eisman, is he learned that his juvenile daughter at the time was sold to a sex trafficking organization in the Seattle area by the 19-year-old boyfriend, who is now human soup in the trunk of a car. Sex trafficking organizations being a disgusting world where women and children are purposefully addicted to trafficking area by the 19-year-old boyfriend.
I can tell off that bandana he did it. Throw that dude under the jail. Oh my god.
Who is now human beings for...
Nah, I ain't saying nothing about that. You feel me? But like, come on, bro. You white, take that bandana off, bro.
And other horrible things. Eisman went and rescued his daughter in October of 2020.
See, that's who I quoted. That's who I quoted. So I don't feel as bad. I think I said the wrong thing though. I said I know who you are. So I don't know who you are.
Boyfriend was nowhere to be found. The next month,
That's
though,
Liam Neeson, though, right?
November of 2020, he learned that the boyfriend was going to be at a location in Airway Heights, Washington. Eisman waited for him, abducted him, tied him up, and threw him into the trunk of a car. Eisman then hit the boyfriend over the head with a cinder block, repeatedly stabbed him, drove to a remote location, and left him bleeding out in the trunk of the car. Almost exactly 1 year later, someone takes the car to another location. It could have been Eisman, or it could have been a thief or some kids that found it. We don't know yet. I'm guessing maybe not a random person. I feel like if it was a random person, they would have been like, damn, this bitch stink. I feel like there's not too many people that would take a joyride in a stolen car that smells like there's been a corpse baking in the sun in the trunk for a year. If it was a thief or a random person.
Isn't that a Mustang? If somebody hopped in that bitch and took it, that means it's got keys in it. So it's like, come on now. In Detroit, you got a Mustang like that sitting in Pontiac, bro. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. That thing is never gonna get. It's gone.
Person, probably because the car smells like that lady's hoo-ha from the famous Reddit story, The Swamps of Dagobah, they would have dumped the car in the location where the cops found it. Or maybe Eisman felt guilty or something. There will probably be more of this.
Like it looks like it's like out of place. Like if this person's house ain't got no Mustang and the person across the street ain't got no Mustang, I'd give it in my neighborhood a week before the cops come and investigate that bitch. Or a couple days before someone's like, yeah, whose fucking car is at the end of my driveway?
Story as the trial happens. Even then, the cops only find it because some thieves come along and rummage through the car, and they're the ones that found the decaying body in the trunk. They straight up went from wanting to steal the change out of your cup holder to getting their prints all over a murder scene. Oopsie daisy. The dad, Eisman, had no recent criminal history and also no criminal history of anything violent. This is going to be a pretty interesting trial, and I'll tell you why. Something almost exactly like this happened in the mid-'80s, and the dad walked out of the courthouse. And this dad did a murder on national news. 1983, Gary Plache started taking his son Jody to a karate instructor named Jeffrey Doucette. For over the next couple of years, the boy was touched by Doucette. In 1985, Doucette kidnapped the boy and spent a couple days in a
I thought he meant like his heart was touched. What the fuck?
motel in California with him. Doucette let the boy use a payphone to call his mom, and the police quickly traced it to the motel and arrested him. The dad heard about what this dirtbag had been doing to his son and figured out where the police were going to be flying him into for prosecution. Dad grabbed his revolver and headed over to the Baton Rouge Metropolitan Airport. He donned a baseball cap, sunglasses, and pretended like he was talking on a payphone. As a couple of police officers were escorting the suspect past the row of payphones where the dad was waiting, Dad turned around and under his arm delivered a perfect headshot to the suspect. He hit this dirtbag in the ear area and he died the next day. Police wrestled the gun away from him, and the dad was initially charged with second-degree murder. But he pled it down to
Justice for that dad. That man's a king. That man's a hero. Let that man be like my dad's best friend. Like what the hell? Justice. That's served on the coldest platter.
no contest to manslaughter.
It's messed up. That dude, you feel me, did what he did, but damn. Bro's walking there in handcuffs, probably thinking like, yeah, it's over. About to go to jail. PC.
His defense argued that he could
Look at that smug little fucking grin.
not tell the difference between right and wrong during the incident, that he had been driven to a temporary psychotic state after learning of the abuse of his son. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison,
Oh my
suspended,
God.
and 5 years
7 years in prison is crazy.
of probation with 300 hours community service, probably because he's a hero. In closing, the judge said sending him to prison would help no one, and there was virtually no risk of him committing another crime. Before he died of a stroke in his nursing home in 2014, the dad said he had no regrets about killing Doucette, and he would gladly do it again. Oh, I want to go watch Law Abiding Citizen now. It's like one of my favorite movies. So my
Shout out
question
Donut
is to you
Operator.
guys.
Donut Operator, the GOAT. Shout out that dad. Well, RIP that dad, but at least now, you feel me? That's what I recorded the last video. Like, I could only see it like in whatever, but that's by the end of 2025. You feel me? So yeah.